All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are jumping right into the dramatic conclusion of Zechariah 14. We're talking about a powerful vision of divine judgment, a totally new world order, and a radical redefinition of what it means to be holy. So where do we start? We're dropped right into the immediate, and I mean visceral, aftermath of a huge battle for Jerusalem. But this isn't a victory parade. Zechariah kicks things off with a terrifyingly graphic picture of divine judgment.
So let's break this down. Verses 12 through 15, they really lay out what happens next to the armies that dared to attack Jerusalem. The text describes this series of just devastating plagues and punishments that are about to fall on them. Okay, so verse 12 paints this absolutely horrific picture of a plague. It's got three distinct things happening all at once. It's a wasting sickness that hits the enemy soldiers while they are still standing on their feet. I mean, can you imagine? It's this image of a sudden, total, and frankly terrifying collapse. And this, of course, brings up the big question, right? How are we supposed to take this? Is Zechariah talking about a literal physical plague, or is there something deeper, something symbolic going on here?
And this is where it gets really interesting. The interpretations are fascinating. The consuming flesh, well, that could be a straight-up famine. The eyes wasting away, maybe that's symbolic of a spiritual blindness, like they just can't see the truth anymore. And the tongue, that could mean their advice, their battle cries, everything they say just turns to delusional nonsense.
But wait, there's more. On top of this plague, verse 13 talks about a great tumult from the Lord. Now, this isn't just the fog of war. No, this is a divinely sent panic, a chaos that makes these invading armies literally turn on themselves and self-destruct.
I mean, talk about a total reversal of fortune. Verse 14 tells us that Judah then joins the fight, and they don't just win, they capture this immense wealth from the attackers, all their gold, silver, and fancy clothes. The would-be conquerors get completely plundered.
And get this, the plague doesn't stop with the soldiers. Verse 15 says it even hits the animals of war, the horses, the mules, the camels. Some commentators look at this and see a parallel for today. Like, could this be a symbol for how modern military tech, the so-called weapons of war, can just completely fail?
Okay, so after all that fire and judgment, the whole story shifts gears. Starting in verse 16, we move from punishment to a brand new global order, and it's all centered on worship in Jerusalem.
So for the survivors, the ones left standing from all these nations, there's a new set of rules, a clear three-part mandate they have to follow every single year. They've got to go to Jerusalem, worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and specifically, they have to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. And yeah, this isn't just a friendly suggestion, it's a command.
And choosing this particular festival, the Feast of Tabernacles, is a huge deal. You see, this feast is all about celebrating God's sovereignty, His provision, and His protection, remembering the Israelites' journey from Egypt. So for all these other nations to celebrate it, that's them admitting He is the one true King.
And the rules are crystal clear. It's a simple choice with massive consequences. If you obey, you get blessings. But if you refuse to show up and worship, well, first you get hit with a drought, symbolized by no rain, and then you get a plague.
What's really clever here is that the text singles out Egypt. Now, you might think Egypt doesn't care about rain, they have the Nile, but the prophecy covers that. It says they'll get a plague instead. And then it makes it clear, this is for everyone. No nation gets a free pass on this new requirement.
And this brings us to the grand finale, the last two verses. They paint this picture of the ultimate state of this new world, where the whole idea of holiness gets completely transformed, seeping into every single part of daily life. You see this phrase, holiness unto the Lord? Back in the day, that was super exclusive. It was only written on the high priest's turban. But in this new world, it's going to be everywhere, even on the most ordinary, everyday things. It's really showing us a world where that line between what's sacred and what's ordinary is just gone, wiped away. We're talking about the bells on war horses, the cooking pots in people's homes. All of it is now just as holy as the sacred vessels in the temple itself. It's pretty radical.
So the whole prophecy wraps up with this really powerful line in verse 21. Now, the word Canaanite here likely referred to merchants or traders, people who had turned the temple into a kind of marketplace. But on a deeper level, it just means that anything profane, anything unclean or defiling is gone. The house of the Lord will be totally and permanently pure.
And that leaves us with this one big, thought-provoking question to chew on.
Think about it. These last verses are full of talk about sacrifices, altars, and even pots for boiling the sacrificial meat. All of that points to a real, functioning temple. So what does Zechariah's prophecy truly say about the future of worship in Jerusalem? It's something to think about.